You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Bruh, not only are we live, but this is like it's a first time for everything. So I'm gonna get right into it. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. I got my co-host 5YardLee with me. As always, for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. 5YardLee, before I bring it in here, I gotta say this. All right. I know some people are wondering, like, man, where's Kadeem at? Where, like, how come Kadeem isn't here and Charlie's here? And in the last episode, Kadeem was there, but Charlie wasn't there. And I gotta say this before we even get the show started. We appreciate everybody rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who came and check this out for the live. I gotta say this though. I am a huge believer, 5YardLee, of memories are more important than money. Huge believer of that. Like, we got friends and say, hey, let's go on vacation. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, forget about the money. Let's just do this. Memories are more important than money. And the reason why Kadeem Simmons is not here today is because my boy is jumping the broom across the world in Cyprus right now. So Kadeem Simmons is getting married as we speak. So whenever y'all see him on social media, shoot him a congratulations, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, welcome to misery. I don't know what the married folks say, you know what I'm saying? But Kadeem Simmons is jumping the broom. And I don't even know why they call it jumping the broom. And if Kadeem was here, he would stat check that. So we don't even got a stat checker, but Kadeem is jumping the broom, and filling in for Kadeem is 5YardLee. 5YardLee, I am heartbroken that I'm here with you instead of at Kadeem's wedding. I got to be honest with you, but this is I can't even say it's a consolation. Like, I'm heartbroken that I could not be at Kadeem's wedding. I had some things planned for it. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, it would be cool. I mean, you could have podded live from the wedding. You could have given us live commentary.
Bro, listen. There's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff that I planned for the wedding. But how about this? Kadeem didn't even set us up right. Like, I'm in the Kadeem square for all of our like, everyone who watching on YouTube. I'm in the Kadeem box, and I had to put the little Charlie there. Like, hey, this is Charlie, not Kadeem. And 5YardLee got his own box that say 5YardLee. So I can't even host our own show with my own name on it. But we'll get on Kadeem when he comes back. 5YardLee, we appreciate you filling in for Kadeem. What's going on, bro?
Not much. Just having a great time. Looking forward to the draft, man. It's coming up fast.
It is coming up fast, bro. And we were going to talk about the draft, so we might as well start right there. Kadeem had a live that I was not on, that I listened to, and I'm like, bro, if I was there, like, this would not happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say some stuff about what he was saying. And me and him had a back and forth prior to that episode about, what's more important to the Miami Dolphins right now. And we'll start off the episode, and I'll just get your opinion as someone knocks on my door. What do you think is more important to the Miami Dolphins right now when it comes to this draft? As I lead you to take over for a second.
I mean, I think the Dolphins have put themselves in a good position, so they don't go into this draft like desperate at any position. I don't think I think they're out of that camp. I think start free agency, there was definitely the possibility that you could have arrived draft night saying you have no choice but to select at a certain position. But I think they did a good job of making inroads at a lot of those, signing a few defensive tackles, getting a corner, signing all the running backs back. Like, I think they've now put themselves in a position where they can go with what Chris Greer feels is best player available. I got a feeling for Chris Greer, it's not always best player available. It's more a hybrid of best player available combined with positional value. I still think he's going to try. If he picks in the first round, and that's a whole separate question. If he picks in the first round, I think he will be taking putting a lot of emphasis onto those premium positions, because I think he sees you can get that 5th year on that rookie deal, and it can become quite valuable. We've seen that with some of the players over the last couple of years. It even gives you the flexibility that you've seen with Tua. So I think it's a combination of things. I think they've done a good job though of getting themselves out of the desperation at any one position.
Bro, how rude is it of me to try to host this show, bring somebody in, and then be like, "Hey, take over for me while I disappear real quick." But I heard everything. I heard most of what you said. But here's my thing, and I heard you talk about 5th year options and everything like that. What does it mean for the immediate impact of the Miami Dolphins? Like, I understand there's a long-term outlook, but what about today? What about tomorrow? What about this season? Because every season there's going to be turnovers in contracts, and every season that you don't get it done, there's a clock ticking.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's probably where the positional value comes in, and I think it might even be where you see, and there's going to be a lot of people getting angry about this. I don't know if they go O-line in the first round, man. I know everyone's desperate, but we know those players historically have taken a couple of years to really hit their stride as starters in the NFL. Unless you're picking right at the top end of the draft. That's not going to happen. I don't see Chris Greer giving up assets to go up for an O-lineman. So in that case, I think he's probably, as we've seen in the media, seen them mention, keeping a couple of those veteran guys on speed dial, those plug and play guys, because they make you better week one. And I think he will use positional value as much as as much as best player available.
5YardLee's ideal round two round draft. What position, what player, but what position do the Dolphins go first round, and what position do the Dolphins go second round? Ideally for 5YardLee.
It's tricky. I think I could make a really decent argument to go defensive end or wide receiver. And it plays on this whole, you hit it on the head a couple of minutes ago where you said every year you don't get it done, you get closer to paying these guys. You have to pay a guy the cycle of life in the NFL. Well, you're already paying Bradley Chubb. Jalen Phillips is coming down the pike real soon. Yep. You need to get someone cheap in the room.
Yeah.
The same at wide receiver. Jalen Waddle's coming down the pike. So you have to get someone cheap in the room to offset. But you also need someone with a higher ceiling than everybody else you have below wide receiver 1 and 2.
So here's why I am not pushing back too much on DN / linebacker. Whatever system you plan, it's technically a DN. Here's why I'm not pushing back too much on DN, because Bradley Chubb just got like $150 million and he's hurt. Jalen Phillips is about to get paid soon, but he's hurt now. So the real question needs to be, do they return to full strength? Do they return to what they were before they got hurt? So if there's a guy there at DN that can, this is how the game goes. We picked up a guy to replace one of you two. Now we're not counting on both of you to be what you used to be. We just need one of y'all to return, and the other one's got to go. Unfortunately, as
it's the business side of it.
Inconsiderate as that sounds, that is the business of it. So, and them boys was both at the Heat game the other day. Shout out to y'all boys. Shout out, friend of the podcast, Bradley Chubb, by the way. Shout out to Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips going to the Heat game. But at the same time, they're both coming off injuries. So if the Dolphins drafted a DN, this is almost like Pittsburgh going Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and then saying, "Hey, y'all got to figure it out." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and whoever plays the best, that's who we're keeping. And then all of a sudden, you draft a DN and say, "Hey, Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, whoever plays the best, that's who we're keeping."
You see, the thing is, it puts the team in the best position, doesn't it? Like you say, it's taking the kind of emotion towards any one player out of it. Like both those guys are great. Love having both of them on the team. It's not personal, but at the same time, you know, like you say, you can't guarantee either of them comes back to full strength. I would predict, especially with the sort of injuries they've got, often you don't see those players return for an entire year, not to their full strength. They play, but they don't play with 100% confidence. And that's a huge problem when you talk about Jalen Phillips. Now, don't get me wrong, Jalen Phillips is a monster of a man, right? Like, we've seen him working out. We've seen him getting back. Like, no doubt he's going to get back to full strength. But there's that playing speed and playing with the confidence in the injured limb. And I think it takes generally, especially with I know he was an Achilles, but it seems to be a lot with ACLs, for instance. That player needs an entire year of playing to get back to the actual top performance. So, the Dolphins are kind of a little bit in limbo here with two guys coming off serious injuries. So that's why I put it at as a possible in the first or second round, because I also think Chris sees it as a high position, a high value position. Do you know what I mean? This is not the sort of position that you want to have
premium.
to go.
It's a premium position.
That's the word I was looking for.
So no, you're right. Teamwork make the dream work, bro. You already know how we do it. Shout out to one of my favorite TV personalities, and Stephania Bell. She says, "Return to play does not mean return to performance." So just because they're green lighted to return to play, it doesn't mean how long does it take for them to return to play, and then how long does it take for them to return to performance. So shout out to Casual DolFan in the comments. He said BPA, best player available, obviously. So
that's what every step so far in the offseason has been aiming to get you to, is to a stage where you can go BPA. That's why you sign so many defensive tackles, because there was a stage there where me and you might have had to play D tackle. There was no one else on the roster other than Zach Sealer.
I don't lie. I gotta get skinny through there. I gotta dip and rip. You feel me? I can come in and dip and rip. And you
sorry, I got that size.
See, look at you. Hey, you invoke the position D tackle. And I ain't gonna lie, real quick, I'm kind of sour that 5YardLee got his own box on Go Time Dolphins, and I can't even get my own box on my own show, bro. This is crazy right now. So you invoked the position D tackle, and me and Kadeem had a back and forth 2 episodes ago, and we're talking about best player available, and then we're talking about needs. Brock Bowers is a tight end. In my opinion, he is a top 10 player of this draft. Matter of fact, he might be top 5 to 7 in this draft. And then you're going to have quarterbacks get selected in front of him that bump him maybe outside of the top 10. With Brock Bowers possibly falling, bro, hear me out. If he all right, I want to be clear. I do not believe Brock Bowers is making it to 21. I want to be very clear, because I wasn't here to defend myself, and Kadeem was like, "Oh, he's not making it to 21." I didn't say he was making it to 21. I said if he makes it past 12, the Miami Dolphins should be considering, hey, let's pick up the phone. If Brock Bowers gets to the teens, we might have to go get him. Now, I'm not going to ask you, should we trade up for Brock Bowers? But I will say this. If we're talking BPA and Brock Bowers lands at 21, he's the best player available. But my question to you is, 5YardLee, do you go tight end at 21 if Brock Bowers is available, or do you go D tackle? And that's the back and forth me and Kadeem had. D tackle to replace Christian Wilkins, or Brock Bowers to become the third receiver, basically the third pass catcher on this team.
I mean, there's a couple of ways to look at it, isn't there? My gut instinct is no, because if he gets to 21, you may have to do it. Like you say, will obviously be best player available at that point. There will also be the question of, hang on, how did he get to 21? We've been in this position before where, as fans, we watch and we've got a player that we like, that we know is good, and we're like, oh my God, how the hell has this guy got to this position?
Yep.
I was in that boat with Reuben Foster. I wanted Reuben Foster so bad. And when he got to the Dolphins and they still didn't select him, I was like, what the hell is going on here? Do you know what I mean? But
do you remember who they took other than Reuben Foster that year?
Not off the top of my head.
Hey, bro, we do this on this podcast, bro. You got to come prepared for this podcast. They took Charles Harris.
It Charles Harris? Yes.
Charles Harris. Yeah. Go ahead.
So I suppose the question is the drop-off between, when you look at your board and you look at all the players, is the drop-off between Brock Bowers and the second tight end on your board, or the tight ends on the roster, a bigger gap to the tackle that is available and the next tackle on your board, or the tackles already on your roster? So the question becomes, at 21, is Brock Bowers a significant improvement over Jonnu Smith? And before you say yes, because I absolutely get it, top 5 talent, the other part of the equation is, it's okay being top 5 talent. If you cannot pick up the system, it does not matter. Do you remember a couple of years ago, Kyle Pitts was cannot miss talent, and this is my favorite word of the draft. He's generational talent. We'll never see talent like this again. How many years later we've got Brock Bowers here? Like, fine, but you put him in a team where they're not ready, the system's too hard, the head coach is an idiot, whatever. He's not having anywhere near the performance that warrants taking a tight end in the top 10. Do you risk that? We know the system is hard. We know playing wide receiver in this system is hard. Coach will be going into his 3rd year. Can you afford to let a player kind of marinate and learn? Or do you trust a veteran like Jonnu Smith to go get it done? Someone who's shown all the same attributes that you want and is there at a fairly low price point.
So you invoked the name Kyle Pitts, and to avoid having the exact same conversation that me and Kadeem had, we'll just revisit what I said in that conversation, which was, you have Kyle Pitts, and for everyone listening, do you believe, and in this year's draft or last year's draft, you had Sam Laporta. Do you believe Brock Bowers is closer to I want to say, would he perform closer to what Kyle Pitts has been performing, or similar to how Sam Laporta has been performing? If you believe it is closer to Pitts, then you don't entertain Bowers for sure. But if you believe it's closer to Sam Laporta, which I believe it would be some, and we shout out numbers, and I'm like, yo, can you imagine? Like, and to be fair, our 3rd leading receiver on the team, do you know who it was? 5YardLee? Would I put you on the spot? Well, I kind of put you on the spot. Do you know who the 3rd leading pass catcher was on the team for the Miami Dolphins?
I should know that, and I don't know it off the top of my head.
Durham Smythe. And he had like 38 receptions and 300 yards. Bro, Brock Bowers is going to come in and double that, in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. And then, so now you got Jonnu Smith. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a shot at anyone, but it's just competition. You know, competition breeds results. And I think Brock Bowers is going to come in and outperform both of them. Now, what does that mean for the D-line? Because the game is built in the trenches. I understand that. So do you go and the rule of thumb for front offices is build from the ball back. So you build O-line back, closest to the ball, O-line, quarterback, all that stuff. And then on the other side is D-line, and then you got corners, and then you got all the other things. So it's a conundrum that needs to be solved. It's a puzzle that needs to be solved.
I think if he's at 21, there's the possibility. I don't think based on need, positional value, the history of tight ends being taken high in the first round of the NFL draft, that you could possibly consider giving up assets.
So I'm going to say this with all of my chest, because Dolphins Twitter does not say this no more with all of their chests. But I believe in Coach McDaniel through and through.
Me too.
And everyone who said he should give up or even consider or thought about him giving up play calling, I will fight back and say, To who? What play caller are you going to give the Dolphins playbook to and have them become the second best offense in the league or the sixth best offense in the league? What has to happen is Coach McDaniel needs to make adjustments, just like the players need to make adjustments. Same way Tua said, I got 4 things that I want to get better on in this offseason. Coach McDaniel needs to be like, yo, I got 8 things I need to get better on this offseason as a play caller. We're not just going to give up responsibility and then be the 26th ranked offense because this play caller can't call plays. Like, yo, you got the second best. Well, if we're going by offenses, ranked offenses, you got the second best play caller in the league on your team, and you're talking about having him give up plays. So I say all of that to say I trust Coach McDaniel, and for him to say, yo, this is the 3rd season, and we're going to unlock things as the years progress. This was supposed to be the unlocking of the tight end position, and I would really like to see that.
He mentioned that in the Cowboys game, didn't he? He mentioned.
I don't remember. I thought I heard it in the postseason as well.
Yeah, Greg Olsen mentioned it in an interview prior to the Cowboys game that he, when he talked about the tight end specifically, obviously, that that was the next kind of evolution of the offense. So you mentioned having full trust in Coach McDaniel. I'm completely on board too. Like, I think giving up play calling is absolutely insane. That is a completely media-driven thing because it's instant news and it gives them something to write about. I hate that take. Agree with everything you say. You've got a new defensive coordinator. Do you want to give him a first-round pick while he tries to implement it whilst you've paid free agent money for a tight end for a great offensive coach? Like, I trust him to be able to get Johnny Smith to play at a high level. I trust him to get Darren Smythe to continue to excel. Is that enough? And then I say, I can look for something else. But Coach Weaver, I'm going to help you get the defensive line. We know you need that rotation. We know you need them big boys.
I'm not going to lie. Shout out to Casual Dolphin said Bowers would be our Kittle. And shout out to Joe Levesque saying fins up. Joe Levesque, we rock with you, bro. Here's my thing, 5YardLee, not to stay too much on this topic, but I feel like there's a stat out there, and I off the top of my head, I cannot remember it, but it was something like the NFL team that had the best passing offense in the past 12 seasons, if they were ranked in like the top 3 and they made the Super Bowl. So the best passing offense made the Super Bowl in the past 12 seasons. So one of the top 3 offense. And I cleaned that up. Yeah. And then the defense was the best pass defense was on that same team. So it was like kind of went hand in hand. And if you know football, then you know your pass rush helps your DBs. So everything you're saying is validated for sure by theory and statistics. But I'm just saying, bro, you have 2 receivers that were both injured, and you said Durham Smythe continued to excel. Yo, I'll love this Durham Smythe. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he is excelling at all. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a shot. It's just an opinion.
Okay. Do you see anything behind those guys?
As far as like depth?
Yeah. Do you like Julian Hill? Like,
no. So that's why I'm on board with Brock Bowers. Like that's why I'm on board with not only Brock Bowers. I'm on board for trading up like 4 spots, 5 spots to get Brock Bowers. In my opinion, I'm on board with that. Look. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the beauty of this is the Dolphins have put themselves in a position where they could do either, and then like there's not really a wrong answer. There's a preferable answer, but there's not a wrong answer.
Sure,
like
sure.
We're not gonna be upset. But I think the way to sell it with Brock Bowers is the way you sold it earlier, not as a tight end, but as your third receiving option.
Yes,
100%. That's the way you have to sell it. You can't
100%.
like you're going to need to be more than just a tight end. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Johnny Smith signing. I think it was a great signing. That would probably help Brock Bowers because it means you don't have to be. Yeah, you can be worked into this offense over the course.
You don't have to
be
Sam Laporta. You don't have to be Sam Laporta. You don't have to be the rookie of the year or offensive rookie of the year. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
And shout out to Mike Gesicki. The reason why Mike Gesicki is still in the Go Time Dolphins intro is because he was the epitome of a Miami Dolphin as well. He said, I understand that there's 2 world-class receivers on our team, and I might not get the looks that I want. So shout out to Mike Gesicki. Always gets love here. But since we're talking about third options, 5YardLee, perfect segue to mention Odell Beckham Jr. has had a offer from the Miami Dolphins, and if you listen to Jeremy Fowler, he's had multiple offers, according to Jeremy Fowler, from the Miami Dolphins. So there continued talks with Odell Beckham Jr., but it hasn't gotten done yet. And I understand someone's going to say we're not playing football yet. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I will say this: Stephon Diggs was traded. And reportedly, the Miami Dolphins had conversations with the Bills to acquire Stephon Diggs. And it's just reports, it's just sources. And I'll say this, whatever, to the sources. But imagine that would have happened, and then Odell Beckham would have been like, dang, I kind of sat on my hands too long, right? So let's go to Odell first. Do you like the conversation around Odell, and do you want it to happen faster than what is happening? What are your thoughts on the Odell Beckham Jr. situation?
I'm really on the fence.
Non-situation.
I'm really on the fence about Odell Beckham, man. Like, I'm one of those people that I don't think you class me as an Odell Beckham fan. Like, I think his hype has always been higher than his actual value to the team he's on.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal opinion. I think if you sign him, there's a real possibility he is a hindrance to Jalen Waddle, because he won't be signing as a wide receiver 1, but he's an alpha mentality. He still believes he's a wide receiver 1, even if he says all the right things. Guys like that don't ever believe they're not wide receiver 1. Like, that's not it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he'll say all the right things, but he will believe that he deserves an equal share of everything. Like, and that's fine. Like, I get it. He's an alpha. Like, that's the kind of guys that you want. I get it, but I just feel that it could be more of a hindrance. I'd be more willing to take a chance on a guy with that mentality if it was a much bigger bodied, healthier, not even healthier, just a bigger bodied guy, because at least it provides something wildly different to the 2 guys we've got. I think he borders on too similar to what we've got. I understand the one. I don't see Odell Beckham. I'll probably be wrong, and he'll probably sign by the time I've woken up in the morning. But I don't see him signing before the draft, because his market only really gets set come the end of the draft, where teams know what they've actually drafted.
Yeah, and then he could lose out because everyone knows Odell wants to play in Miami. Everyone knows that. And then if the Dolphins mess around and go receiver round 1, that's and to keep it with the South Florida, vernacular, that ship has left the port instead of that train left the station. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if we go receiver early, it's a wrap for him. But shout out to Robert Ashton, said 5YardLee ain't no OBJ fan. But here's my thing. I like the addition of OBJ because he still has some tread on the tires. He does. And 2 things could be true. He's not what everyone thinks he is, but there is still tread on the tires. He's still performing at a good enough level to where if he's your third option, we can use him for sure. And that conversation about Tyreek Hill getting 2,000 would no longer be a conversation, because the ball is going to get spread out a lot.
Okay, so let me put you on the spot now.
Oh, I'm here for it, bro.
You get it's pick 21. You're on the clock. Brock Bowers is on the board.
Yep.
Odell is on the phone.
Yep.
Who are you taking?
Brock Bowers, welcome to the Miami Dolphins. We got a number for you already. Like, straight cheap. Up. Not only because he's cheap, he fits multiple needs. He's an inline tight end. He's a third option for receiver. He's gonna be on 5 years with this rookie contract, bro. There's so much upside to Brock Bowers. The intermediate routes will be all Brock Bowers, and Odell. It's only so many plus sides to Odell. But nah, this is a no-brainer for me, Brock Bowers. And I do want to answer the question that I asked you earlier about round 1 and round 2. What would you do round 1, round 2? And my ideal situation, and I was going to say scenario, and I said snitchuation for the snitches. But my best case scenario is O-line. That's what I want. You know what I'm saying? O-line. That's what I want. So they go offensive tackle first round, and you can go offensive guard next round or center next round. Whatever that looks like, whatever O-line looks like. I think the Saints did it in the past 10 years with Ryan Ramczyk was one of the O-linemen they went with, I think. And then I think the Chargers did it too. And I was jealous of them both. I'm like, oh man, this is nice. You know what I'm saying? And then if you look at what we got, O-line, all of a sudden, when Connor Williams' leg gets right in the middle of the season and he's able to play, he also becomes, and I want to be clear, Connor Williams is not signed to anyone, but I got to imagine him and the Dolphins have a pretty good relationship to where, you know what, when you're ready, holla at us. And then if you go O-line in the draft, and Connor Williams says, you know what, I'm ready to go, you have a center all of a sudden. So I would love to see the Dolphins go O-line. Does it happen? I would tip my hand a little bit. I think the Dolphins go offensive tackle in the draft, first round, and they play them at guard. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I'm telling you, hey, I know, you know, we got a group chat. We got a group chat, and 5YardLee's in a group chat. And I know what you think about that. Tell the people what you think about that.
Oh man, I love it. Come draft time, you see all the analysts, and they love to say, "This guy plays tackle, but he projects well as a guard," or "This guy plays guard, he projects well as a tackle."
Yeah.
How often does it actually work out? Like, do you think, in your honest opinion, regardless of whether you think he has been a success or a failure as a player, do you think all the moving around has helped Liam Eichenberg as a player?
I think it's hurt him, but
that's what I mean. Like, but it doesn't matter whether you were good or bad. It still hindered you. It made you worse as a player, even if your level wasn't.
I mean, friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson moved around the line, bro. He was left tackle, left guard. Now he's a right tackle.
And how long did it take people to think that he was playing to the level?
I can argue he was injured. I can argue that. You know what I'm saying? That first year, he wasn't bad, bro. That second year was where everyone was like, Austin Jackson, like, yo, what's going on with AJ? But then the third year, he was hurt. And then last year, he got the bag.
So do you want to take this chance for another? How many other players do you move around? I don't know, man. Like, I remember listening to Taylor Lewan during the combine.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was a left tackle. He's like, I am a left tackle. I'm horrible at any other position. he said, I feared people asking me to do those drills at the combine. He said, because he looks like a bad player. It's like, yes, because you excel at one thing. Like, that's what you want. That's what you want, isn't it? I want a guy who, like, wouldn't you love a guy who is a right guard? This is what he is. He's a right guard. He plugs and plays.
Yep.
Next 10 years, there you go. There's a right guard.
100%.
So why take someone that you're projecting to do something they have never done before?
Hey.
At that point, it might be educated guesswork, but it's guesswork. There's different. Like, Laramie Tunsil did a really good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Laramie Tunsil was considered to be the number 1 overall pick. Like, this, we're talking like a different league of talent.
Yeah.
When it comes to the majority of players, I just don't know how well I don't think it necessarily helps them early in their career. And look, just find someone who excels at the position. Like, you've got all the information, you've got all the data, you've got all the games to look at. Don't look at someone who's played right tackle for his entire life and go, hey, that guy played guard.
So I said OBJ had tread on the tires, and Robert Ashton in the comments said tread on the tires, more like a fifth wheel. Shout out to Robert Ryan, hit us up and said legged at 21. How about this, 5YardLee? I got the question of the day for you. The question of the day is it now or never for the Miami Dolphins now that Buffalo has seemingly taken a step back on paper? Is it now or never? Is it like, hey, if the Dolphins don't win it now, we never gonna do it? And that's the division, by the way. Like, do the Dolphins absolutely have to win the division this year? Or is it, oh, we still got time? Like, what are your thoughts on now or never for the Miami Dolphins winning the division?
I think it's difficult, isn't it? Because right now, pre-draft, no games have been played. We don't even know what the schedule looks like. I'm going to say to you, yeah, of course they have to be. That has to be the goal. That has to be the goal every year. You're about to pay your franchise quarterback. You have no choice but to win now. I'd also say, if you don't win a division and you go to the Super Bowl, do I care? Not really.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is is finishing where you want at the end of the season. You know, if you win a division and get knocked out in the wild card round, who cares? Was it worth it? I don't know. That seems like a little bit of a hollow victory to me at that point. But that's just my personal opinion. I know me and Jay had a few disagreements about this at the end of the season. I just think the end goal has to be the end goal, which is it has to be to go Super Bowl, right? It has to
Yeah.
be
All right. So, but there's victories on the way. There's joy on the journey, as a lot of people would say. And Lee, bro, if you win a division last year, you're not going to Kansas City losing fingers in the cold.
Okay, but what if you've been knocked out in the wild card round anyway? Okay, we would have missed the wild card round.
Hold on.
I don't understand.
No, not
Yeah,
at all.
she don't. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? She don't understand either, bro. You saying, but no. Realistically, yeah. If you get knocked out, you might. Well, all right. Let's be clear. You lost to the Ravens. All right. So you wasn't going to be the 1 seed. But if you won the division, you still would have had a home game and you would have played Buffalo, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because we would have won back to back. So you probably would have.
Who you lost to twice. So you would have won the division and possibly got beat at home.
All right. So I get that.
Would that have been a better situation than losing on the road in Kansas City?
I ain't gonna lie. Yes, it would have been better. it would have been better. I would have preferred.
It's marginal.
I would. Yeah, this is.
That's the problem.
It's like picking your poison right here. Like, yo, how do you want to die? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. So I can't pick one of those.
Losing honestly sucks.
Yeah. A wise man said. I forgot what this wise man said. You win some, you lose some, but winning feels better. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? So listen, here's my thing. Stephon Diggs goes to Houston, and he's playing with CJ Stroud now. The Bills are without Poyer, are without Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis goes to Jacksonville. Like it looks like a step back without a doubt. The Bills did not even play good enough last year they barely made the playoffs and ended up winning the division. That's how colossal the collapse was in Miami, that the Bills weren't even supposed to make the playoffs. So now you lose these players and your 1 and 2 receiver. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm not gonna say now or never, but if you don't win a division this time and you don't win the Super Bowl, there's got to be some talks. All right, all this playoff appearance stuff don't. Yeah, that's whatever. We're done with playoff appearances. We just made 2 playoff appearances in a row. All that is whatever, bro. You gotta come in with momentum. You have to win this division 5YardLee by 3 games. Like straight up, yo, this division has to be won by 3 games. You're supposed to have 6 wins in this division this year. That's it. There's no conversation. 6 wins in the division, 6 more wins elsewhere. You're supposed to be 12-5 going into the playoffs at a minimum this season. Now I got us going in as 12-5 or even 13-4. And now it's like, all right, cool. This is how we were supposed to be. And then hopefully you want that bye. But if not, you're 13-4, you get a home game, and you're probably going to play, let's just say, Cleveland in the first round. I feel real good about that. At home, Hard Rock Stadium, and I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, you have to put your foot. You know I'm in jiu-jitsu, right? 5YardLee?
I do.
Matter of fact, I got class coming up. Right after this episode, I'm going to go to class. And there's this saying in jujitsu that we say, and we say position over submission. Bro, you have to use your position first before you could tap somebody out. And we need to win these games, win the division. And once we're in a position to win the division, we have to put our foot on their necks. And now we need to submit them. And that is what the Dolphins are lacking. And we played good in the middle game was great. Beginning of the season, end of the season, you know what I'm saying? But nah, when everybody was watching the Dolphins and people talking about us in their huddles during their games, like, yo, you seen what Tua just did? 70 points, you know what I'm saying? No look passes, that's all good and dandy, but you got to close, bro.
Absolutely.
I guess there was no question there, but I'm just saying it was a little rant. I just felt like going off, man.
I agree. I agree. You got to, but you know, I think when it came to the end of last season, like we don't like it, but every chance they had to beat a team that they would need to beat, they found a way to basically not get it done. Other than the Cowboys, who were kind of in the same boat, so we shouldn't have been surprised by the way it ended, because it's basically how it was scripted the entire year. Now, that's something they need to overcome early in this season.
Yeah, but here's my thing. I ain't gonna lie. Everyone says, "Oh, no excuses, no excuses, no excuses." But yo, you did not expect you did not expect the same team that played in whatever week that was against Denver to play the same in week 17 and 18 when you played Buffalo and Baltimore without 12 players, 8 starters. Like if you say no excuses, I get it. But if you say your expectations were the same, I do not get it. So my expectations, I was really watching the last couple of games of the season, like whatever happens, happens. You know what I'm saying? This is not the same team that we watched 8 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? So, but you gotta hope you go in healthy. Usually we get that bug, that injury bug is like at the beginning of the season, and like, damn, we got the injury bug. Like it hasn't been too often that the Dolphins get the injury bug late in the season when we're actually making a run. Like, dang, we're looking really good, and then we avoided the bug for a few years now. If I'm being real with you, but and it bit us last year.
I think the game that kind of underlined everything was the game we were in Frankfurt.
Yeah,
you had a team that was on the ropes. You weren't having to play them in their building. You were playing good football, and you found a way to really shit the bed in the first half, really.
Muck it up.
Do you know what I mean? Like that, you had a chance there, like without the bad snap. Jalen Waddle's walking into the end zone untouched, and that's super annoying. But it was just another case of that kind of carried on throughout the season when it came to playing teams that had winning experience. They need to overcome that. That's one of those that has to be on Mike McDaniel's list. I have to get this team over this hump. Doesn't matter how. We just have to chalk one up in the win column. What would you say was the highest quality win last year against the best opponent? What was the
highest quality win against the best opponent? That was probably Dallas.
That's what I mean. Now, did you, by the time we got to the end of the season, Dallas weren't playing their best football.
Yeah. And then they were also that team that, they haven't beaten anybody with a winning record, which none of that means nothing at the end of the season, bro. Like, I don't care about none of that. Like, yo, win the games that you got to play. That's it. Hey, you coming over to bonus time with us, 5YardLee?
Yeah, let's do it.
Bro, tell everybody where they can find you and shout out all your social media and all the other good stuff.
Yeah, you can find me at 5YardLee on Twitter and on the DolFan UK podcast. And if not, hopefully you'll find me here again soon with Charlie.
Hey, listen.
When he gets his own box, though.
I got to get my own box. You know what I'm saying? Kadeem Simmons jumped the broom today. I don't know why they say jump the broom, but he jumped the broom today. He got married to Hannah Montana, the always mentioned Hannah Montana, and it's a beautiful thing. It is I'm heartbroken that I could not be there for it. Man, like, there was legit. I thought I might shed a couple tears on this podcast today. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought I might have, but I'm good. Listen, so when y'all see Kadeem in the streets or on the Twitter or on the X or on the IG or on the POF, or on the Bumble, which he shouldn't be on no more. You know what I'm saying? But yo, y'all tell him congratulations. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For 5YardLee, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time.
5YardLee, bro. What's going on, man? What we got?
How's it going?
Hey, you got anything you wanna talk about?
Yeah, I'm interested. You mentioned there at the end of the show that you've got them at 12-5, 13-4.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think new defensive scheme affects the overall record?
I think it's more my prediction was based more on opponents than like yo, y'all have to beat these boys. you have to beat these teams, and I don't want to hear it. I don't care what. It's just like, yo, you have better players. You're the better team.
No excuses.
You know what I'm saying? You have the better coaches. You know, like you have to win these games. That was more so what I was going off of. But as far as Weaver coming in, I don't know what I'm gonna get, if I'm being honest. I don't know what I'm gonna get, but I feel I can't even say I'm confident. I just feel better that the players feel better. You know, because I think that means something. I think who you're playing for, who you want to play for, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that carries over a lot. Can you have your own identity on the field? Can you be yourself? Jalen Ramsey, a friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, came out and was kicking rocks as soon as Vic Fangio left. You know what I'm saying? And people couldn't be themselves. When was the last time you see Javon Holland and Brandon Jones, who's no longer with the team, like look like they did those first 2 seasons? By the way, Brandon Jones hit me back. And friend of the podcast, Brandon Jones, hit me back. He heard what we said on the episode about him being a high quality character individual, and he hit me back, said some things, and this is why he's a high quality character individual, and this is why we rock with him as much as we do, and Myles Gaskin and Javon Holland and all the other friends of the podcast. They are very similar in their mindset, and I'll say it again, if that is the makeup of the locker room, the Dolphins are in good hands. So again, appreciate all them boys for being friends of the podcast. But 5YardLee, what do you think the defense is going to look like?
I'm excited for it, but just to go back to Brandon Jones for a minute, isn't there something like, I know with fans and there's kind of weird divide, isn't there, sometimes between fans and players and how fans react to things, but like, you kind of weirdly felt proud of Brandon Jones getting a nice deal to go somewhere and being recognized for the talent and the player. Do you know what I mean? Like that was well deserved. Like Rob Hunt getting paid the way he did in free agency. Like, I was kind of happy for him. Yeah, I'd love to have seen him be a Dolphin, but
yeah,
man, he deserved that money for being a good player and coming on. And do you know what I mean? Like,
I do, bro. I do. 100 M's. Like 100. Hey, every time I seen Rob Hunt in the grocery store, and now I think about 100 M's. Like, yo, Rob Hunt remembered my name, 5YardLee. I seen him in the grocery store, and he like, Charlie. I like, yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, 100 M's, bro. Like, yo, if you can keep that character with 100 M's, bro, you need to win a Nobel Peace Prize. You know what I'm saying? Like, so nah, man. I second what you're saying, 5YardLee. Like, I really, them boys, they deserve it. Every single one of them, they deserve it.
You support the player as well as the team. It's not just whilst you're wearing a Dolphin. Do you know what I mean? It's cool to see those players go and succeed elsewhere.
If you ask Kadeem that, he'll say, "Oh, I'm not a Tua fan. I'm a Dolphin fan. I'm not I'm not a Brandon Jones fan. I'm a Dolphin fan. Good thing Brandon Jones didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sheesh, Kadeem. Like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying?
There's players though, isn't there, that you get an attachment to? There's players that for some reason you just don't. You're like, nah, whatever. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's the way people react to other people. But going back to the defense, I'm excited about the defense. Like, I want to see a violent, I want to see a more violent defense. Like
Robert Ashton said, how many games before the DC gets judged?
Oh, I mean, to be honest, even judged in training camp. That's what the media does, man.
Preseason, like, oh, what is this? Someone scored 28 points on us in preseason. What's this DC doing? You know what I'm saying?
You wait until you see practice 2 of training camp and Tyreek scored 4 touchdowns and be like, oh my God, he's fucking Tyreek Hill. Of course he did. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, as long as they can complement the offense whilst they get everything in order, I don't expect it to be 100% come game 1. That's unrealistic. Like, I want to be building throughout the season. I want it to crescendo a little bit like last year. I mean, man, if things had panned out last year, you would have met every kind of saying that the NFL loves, right? That offense wins games and defense wins championships. Like, the way the offense started out the season, putting up all those numbers, and by the time the end of the season came, you could have won a championship with defense. You know what I mean? That would have been the dream.
I'm a defensive-minded dude. I played defense growing up. I was a big supporter of that quote, defense wins championships, because we kind of seen it too. We seen the Baltimore Ravens defense. We seen the Legion of Boom. We seen the 2 Giants defenses that carried Eli. We seen the Broncos defense that carried Peyton at the end of his career. The no-name defense of the Miami Dolphins, still curtain defense in Pittsburgh. The purple people eaters in Minnesota. Since we're going down defense, I might as well just keep coming up with all of them. But we seen these the Tampa Bay defense, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, we seen these defenses, and they all won championships. By the way, every single one. I think. I don't know. Did Minnesota win? I don't know. I don't think Minnesota won that. But defenses, like, for all of history, they win championships. But I ain't gonna lie, 5YardLee. I think we're turning a corner, bro. I think you have to have the offense now, bro. The way the rules are changing and the way the league is changing and protecting quarterbacks and protecting offensive players and not protecting defensive players, you can't even do nothing on defense to win championships. You just have to not let them score 50. You know what I'm saying? And that's all you're doing. So it used to be, we're going to tell our kids growing up, yeah, once upon a time, defense won championships. But I don't know that that's the case anymore.
I saw the Dolphins lose a game 3-0. But and that wasn't defense. That was all rain. But that's not the point. But do you know what I mean? It's you still have to be competent on offense, don't you? Because otherwise you end up in the boat that the New York Jets have been in for a couple of years, where the defense looks stacked, looks like keeps them in games, but when it comes to it, you still have to be able to at least put points on the board. Like, you may not have to be the best offense in the NFL, but you need to be competent. You need to be able to put up, let's say, league average numbers. Like, you cannot be in the bottom third of the league and expect to win championships, because you just end up with your defense on the field too long. They get too tired, and then those injuries start to kick in. Players start to turn on each other. Like, you know, there was a point last year where the Jets were in games. They kind of won a couple there, and all of a sudden, hang on. Maybe they're starting to turn a little bit of a corner here. But then the offense puts up no points. Defense is on the field all this time, and then they start losing games late, and it kills everything. So, you know, there has to be a blend, man. There has to be a bit of everything.
5YardLee, we're about to get out of here, man. I just want to say thanks again for filling in. Man, my dog got married, bro. My dog got married. That's crazy. I want to share something with everyone listening. Me and Kadeem talked in private, and when I told her I wasn't going to be able to make the wedding, And I told him I missed. I have a friend, a lifelong friend, and I grew up with her, like in like church. And I missed her wedding, and I was like on an assignment, a work assignment, a job assignment. I couldn't make the wedding, and I called her my sister, and I missed the wedding, and that never sat well with me ever. And I like, yo, I was supposed to go to that wedding, and she's a loved one. And then I realized, and I told Kadeem this, and I'm glad I got to tell Kadeem in private. I like, it's crazy how we met in 2017, and the Miami Dolphins brought us together, and we started a podcast, and now Kadeem has made it to being a loved one of mine, and that's why I'm just so heartbroken that I missed his wedding. But congratulations to Kadeem and Hannah Montana. You know what I'm saying? Like, best wishes to y'all moving forward. It's a beautiful thing. You got something to say, 5YardLee?
I was just gonna say the same thing, man. Like, so happy for him. Like, it's gonna be awesome. I'd say that we do something special when later in the year. Maybe we get something planned. You're gonna be in Miami later this year.
I can be.
Yeah, you have to be there. I think we do something special with them.
I ain't gonna lie. I did get their gift though, and that gift is pretty in there. So maybe we give them. I give them the gift at the same time. So
and also we need to change this saying, man. It can't be hop the broom. Like, I think that's a medieval saying, by the way. But
is it?
Yeah, I think they used to hop brooms, didn't they? I think they actually had to. I don't know.
Bro.
I could be wrong. I think we should change it. I think we should say he signed that free agent contract.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? That's what I was supposed to say. I was supposed to say, you know what? The Miami Dolphins didn't get a ring this year, but Kadeem Simmons did. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was supposed to come in. So that's how I was supposed to start the show, and I didn't, but that's how I end the show. Shout out to the Miami Dolphins not coming home with the ring, but Kadeem and Hannah do. And again, best wishes moving forward. Congratulations. We out of here.